Now the latest on the developments over at 38 Studios. Governor Lincoln Chafee has confirmed Curt Schilling's video game company is now laying off employees. This following a meeting between the state EDC and 38 Studios to discuss the company's financial situation. This is WPRI.com's Ted Nesi. He's been all over this story since it broke, about a week ago now, and what's the latest?
Well, not much has changed, it seems, Patrick. Last night we had a meeting at the EDC. Curt Schilling was there for about 2 or 3 hours. They met behind closed doors, the board of the Economic Development Corporation, which is chaired by Governor Chafee. We don't know what he asked for. We don't know exactly what he told them. All we know is he briefed them on the company's situation, and the board said they took no vote, no action. They don't want to give any more taxpayer assistance to this company beyond what's already available. So the question now is, how much longer can 38 Studios go on, and is there a private investor ready to help the company out?
Who's running the EDC right now? With
right.
Keith Stokes not there anymore.
The guy, Keith Stokes, the former executive director who resigned last week, his number 2, Bill Parsons, is running it on an interim basis right now. He's been at the agency for decades, so he knows it pretty well. But, it's really at this point, it's the board and the governor's office taking the lead role on trying to figure this 38 Studios thing out.
Okay, so I went back to this last time we talked about how much are Rhode Island taxpayers going to be on the hook. I mean, it always goes back to, people watching at home saying, okay, how is this going to affect me? And we read a story this morning about Schilling's company asking for, I believe it was $8 million in tax breaks, and is that a possibility? And again, how much will that affect Rhode Islanders that are watching right now?
Well, the question is, there's a two-part question there. What else can Schilling get from taxpayers? Right now, again, taxpayers haven't put a dime into this company. We've guaranteed a loan. We co-signed it, like when your parents co-sign for college. But if they default, that's when we'd be asked to step in and pay the bonds that 38 Studios was supposed to pay. Now, Schilling's company, under the law, it's still not clear, might be eligible for tax credits. We think they'll be able to get those. That means they can get a credit and sell it to another company which can use it to offset taxes. So that, in a sense, is more taxpayer funding going in, but that's under current law. They're just allowed to do that anyway, it looks like. The question is whether the EDC board will take any special action, changing the agreement, giving the company an extended loan or something like that. But we're talking, this could run over $100 million by the time you add the tax credits in, and if the company defaults. We're not there yet, but it's certainly got to be a concern.
All right, so put yourself in Governor Chafee's shoes. What's the goal here? The state wants 38 Studios to survive and prosper and flourish, right?
Absolutely, but we also don't want it to be a state agency, right? Which is the problem at this point. How does this company, it's a private sector enterprise, it's getting state help, but they need to go find private money. Governor Chafee has said we can't keep using the state to sort of fund its development, but the company is more than a year away from having the game out. It's spending, according to Governor Chafee, nearly $4 million a month to operate. So even with those tax credits, that's like $8 million. That's only about 2 months of what the company wants. And on the other hand, I know from talking to investors in Boston and Washington, there's not a lot of appetite out there for private investors to put money into this company. So I have to say it looks very, very challenging for the company to stay afloat right now.
All right, so 30 seconds. What's next? How many more meetings can they have? How many more times can we see Curt Schilling walking out of the EDC saying, we're trying to hang in there, we're trying to survive, and Governor Chafee saying what he has to say? I mean, how long is this going to go on?
Well, it looks like the pun, but Schilling struck out with the EDC board. There's no more meetings scheduled. There's nothing on the table. If at this point he just needs to go either come up with money himself or find some money elsewhere. Meanwhile, they aren't paying the employees. There's still no sign they have. Governor Chafee says there have been layoffs, and now this afternoon, Tuesday, another video company from Boston is coming down and holding a recruiting event at the Renaissance Hotel Providence to kind of poach its employees. So that's certainly not a good sign, and we'll have to see what kind of interest they get. I think we'll be tracking that this afternoon.
Yeah, probably a lot of 38 Studios employees walking out of the door with their resume over to that job fair.
And that, of course, is just another drain on the company.
All right, Ted, thanks as always. And for the very latest on 38 Studios, Risky Business, of course, check out Ted Nesi's blog, Nesi's Notes, on our website, WPRI.com. More local